Yeah? Oh, I was like, who's this behind this wall?
I use your gym voice.
I know, right here. Welcome everybody to our real estate story part 2. This is the second event we're hosting over here, so I appreciate you all coming out. The reason why I wanted to do this event is because I feel like I surround myself with a lot of great people that do things in the real estate world, right? So I wanted them to share their stories on the things that they're working on and the stuff that they've done, so we could all learn from each other and go from there. But I look out here and I see a lot of very experienced real estate professionals, so I'm a little nervous right now. But in any case, I'm Charles. Hi. From the Charles Acoba team. The two people that are going to be speaking today are on my real estate team with Joe and Sam, so we'll introduce them earlier, but I'll go through our agenda for this evening. So I have 5 minutes to talk to everybody that wants to get the real estate license and how to do that. And then we'll get into the BRRRR strategy with Joe and house hacking with Sam, and then a word from our lender who provided us the food today, Anton. And then we'll have some Q&A, and you're already fed, so keep eating. I think we have some more stuff there. So who am I? Hi, yes, Charles. I've been in the industry since '09. I started off as an investor with RPAN. The first actual flip that I did is in this room. I don't know where he went, but where did RPAN go? Oh, so I did my first flip with that guy over there in 2009. It was a very interesting flip that we did. So, but before that, why did I get into real estate? I was in College of DuPage. And it took me 2 years to get a 4-year degree. I'm not that bright as a student. So the last year of my college experience, I was in a computer lab and I Googled how to make money without working. And passive income and residential real estate came up. It was crazy because recently I Googled that and none of that comes up. But I don't know how I got into that page, but that is the thought that changed kind of my life, right? Fast forward, I learned, I understood, I tried to figure out the business. Like I said, I did the first flip in '09 with RPAN back there. I mean, if you want the details, you could talk to him. We did a bunch of fix and flips together. I bought a couple rental properties. I got my real estate license in 2016, and I've been working at Exit since May 2016. Been on the retail side of things for there and been doing that since then. But as you can see, I've done a lot of things in real estate. I've raised funds, did the flips, understood, rentals, help people grow their portfolios, things along those lines. So that's what I have. Besides real estate, what do I do? Oh, wait. I thought I had to. Anyways, what else do I do? So I also DJ. I have a company called X-Fade Entertainment. I've had that business since 2003, so I've been spinning around the Chicagoland area since then. I also own The Jungle, which is a recording studio. I've had that since 2011. And I also am a coach for a fight team, so I could fight. It doesn't look like it, but I can. So that's what I have. But today, really quick, what I wanted to do, benefits and traits of a real estate agent. Anybody that's interested in getting their license, which I suggest everybody do and come on my team. So the benefits, working on your terms, right? Like nobody's going to tell you what to do. Nobody's going to tell you to wake up in the morning. Nobody's going to tell you to do what you need to do, right? It's on your terms, right? Same with the control. right? You have to have that discipline and understand what you need to do. But my favorite thing is the ability to serve others, right? I am in this industry because I want to serve my clients, give them the best possible service, so then they have a good experience to you know, do this again and work. All right. Traits, like I said, be disciplined, consistency, good communication, and good customer service. So if you have those, let's get your license and come to exit. Becoming an agent requirements. I mean, you guys can read that. You got to be 18-year-old, at least a GED. The schooling, 75 hours of pre-licensing. You have to pass the licensing exam and then select the brokerage to sponsor you. All right. Now the costs. The school, in person, $600. E-learning online, $300. The test fee every time you need to take it, it's $55. I took it 3 times, so you know, back to the schooling thing, not that great. And then your licensing exam is another $200, and this was of March 2024. After you pass the test, these are the things that you have to do. Join a real estate office. Each brokerage is different depending on what you want to do for that, what are the costs. At exit, it's $425 a year, right? You have to join an MLS, so then you have access to the portals and some of those on-market properties, which is about $1,500 a year. And if you decide to join my team, I'll put you through the program. You could ask any of these guys. They know what I expect and what they need to do as an agent. So, any questions on becoming a realtor? Yes.
What separates you from the other teams? I'm assuming if there's a Charles Acoba team, there's got to be an op, right? There's got to be opposing teams.
Yeah. Well, our team is mostly investor based. I mean, that's why I have 2 guys that do it. Like, we work on deals, we help underwrite each other's things, we help run each other's numbers and go from there. And as far as like helping first-time home buyers and things along those lines, we do all that stuff too. But we're more investor based than anything, in my opinion.
But even like collaborating on events like this, like we help promote each other, we do different events and support one another with different asks and showings and things of that nature. So it's a good team, kind of team atmosphere with the group.
Yeah.
You're not solo, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good.
You're solo or not, you know what I mean? So it's
Got it.
it's a good thing.
How about for somebody who's minimally experienced in real estate?
Yeah, I've taken, so as far as, you know, someone like Joe right here, he's on my team. He didn't, from nothing. No experience, came from working with his dad cleaning carpets. I told him he wanted to get into real estate. I need to get your license, and now he's been with me for the last 2 years, 3 years. So, you know, I'm there, understand, and I think that I show by leading by experience versus you need to go do this and then things along those lines. So that's what I have as an agent for that. Yeah. Somebody just walked in?
Yeah, couple guys.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask for any referrals. So whoever invited you here, give them a buy or sell. All right. But just let me know, guys. I love to talk about real estate. If you send us the next person you talk to real estate with, right? And if you need that information, we'll have this all on at the end here. All right, before I bring in our first speaker, who has seen this quadrant? Yeah? So Robert Kiyosaki, the quadrant of the linear versus residual income. So Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was the book that pretty much changed the way of me thinking. It was the first book that I read that I was like, whoa, this makes sense to me, right? And after I Googled my COD, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and this has got me a little bit more into the real estate game and what I'm trying to do. So, you know, these are 4 quadrants of wealth, right? So the E is the employee, right? You spend your time for your dollars. You're working on a salary, you're working for per hour, right? The self-employment, the S, You know, this is your small businesses, your specialties. You know, you own a job. You are spending 80, 100 hours a week doing those tasks, if you will, right? The B is a business owner. So business owners, what do? They create systems. They have people working for you, right? Whether or not you are there, your business is still running, right? And then finally, the I, the investor, that is where your money works for you, right? You have your dollars that goes out, and then they come back with more dollars. So the majority of my life, I've been on the right side of this quadrant, or working on the right side of this quadrant. I built businesses and invested in real estate, and that's what I am passionate about. And the next two people that I'm gonna bring up, you know, they've been in all these quadrants as well, right? And I want them to tell their story on everything that they're doing, but most importantly, what they're doing in an investment world with the I, which is why we're here today. So without further ado, I want to bring up our first speaker, Joe, from Alvarado Investments.
I do see some Bears fans here. I think I might be speaking literally when they're making their first pick. So if they select Caleb Williams, can someone shout Caleb for me, please? Hopefully I hear Caleb. And then number 9 pick as well, so keep an eye out for that for me. So, you know I love real estate, but I'm going to miss the draft. Most important day in Bears history probably, but I love real estate that much. So yeah, Joe Alvarado. Been on Charles' team now for like 5 months, 6 months. Just became a realtor 6 months ago. Got into real estate literally 4 years ago. Yesterday was my kind of 4-year anniversary mark. And just a quick show of hands, just kind of gauge the audience. Who is looking to invest but has never invested before? So any newbies you would call? Okay, a couple newbies. Okay, yeah, just be honest. It's a safe room. And who actually has invested before? Like seasoned. Okay, so we got quite a few. Cool. All right, so my story, father, family of 4, have a wife, live out in the western suburbs. Literally just got into real estate 4 years ago. Before 4 years ago, I could barely hang up a heavy mirror on drywall, right? So I was not your typical kind of real estate investor who's been bred up and was a realtor for a while, all that. I kind of just jumped right into it. I've been an executive in corporate retail for companies like Sears, Target, Walgreens now for 15 years or so. So I went to Notre Dame, U of I, kind of mastered in finance, got my MBA in corporate finance. So I am pretty good at numbers, but I was definitely not a handyman. My dad right there was for the family, our engineer and architect. I did not get that skill set. It took some time, but I've been figuring it out. And since 2020, about 4 years ago, I'm now at roughly 13, 14 units right now in literally 4 years. And real estate has been a game changer for me. And my hobbies are, I actually met Charles at the Muay Thai gym. That's how we met. He can kick some ass, so be careful with him. So my real estate strategy. I do poor man investing, right? So I don't have $1 million. I'm not sitting on a ton of assets, a ton of equity. I had some cash back in 2020. I was sitting on maybe $40,000 in cash. I did have good credit. And I've been leveraging the BRRRR strategy. So, you know, the philosophy that I've been kind of following the past 4 years is the money that I do have, I recycle it. And I'll show you how I do that with the BRRRR strategy. I'm having bigger plans now for 2025. But the past 4 years, just kind of getting my feet wet, testing the market, recycling my cash, building a network of realtors, of lenders, of attorneys, contractors, and so far I've been absolutely loving it. So why did I get into real estate? When you have 4 kids and a wife at home, you're the breadwinner, obviously you need to make more money, right? And I was kind of looking at my long-term trajectory. Yeah, I was saving, I put money into my 401k, but it wasn't cutting it. I did not see the light at the end of the tunnel of early retirement anytime soon. So I said, I got to get some assets, I need to get some equity. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I read all these bigger pocket books. Brandon Turner, I love that guy. I just kind of deep dove into research and analysis and books, and You need to own assets. You need to own your time. You need to have money work for you. And I wasn't doing that in my corporate world. So I said, how do I shift that? Real estate had always been in the back of my mind. My mom was a realtor back in the day. My dad was an engineer and architect. So maybe that seed was planted when I was young. But I kind of got my head wrapped around it about 5 years ago. And just kind of researched and dove in. And I really kind of settled in on the BRRRR strategy, which I'll explain here in a second. Originally, I was thinking about house hacking. So I had a wife, a son at the time, 4 or 5 years ago. But to house hack, you got to find a multi-unit where the mortgage and the payments can be paid by, if you have a 3-flat or a legal 2-flat, and potentially you're living in the in-law unit in the basement, the mortgage needs to be paid off by the first and second unit, right? And the properties that I was finding that were deals were kind of in rough neighborhoods. And my wife was like, yeah, we're not going to be living here. And then also the thought of, her living in while I go to work, and there's other tenants in the building and sharing common space, she wasn't really comfortable with that. So the house hacking idea kind of went out the window. So you have to find kind of your niche. Everyone's in different life stages, right? Got different things going on. So I said, okay, house hacking might not be the situation for me in my current life situation. What is? And that's where I landed on the BRRRR strategy. So what is BRRRR? Long story short, you buy a distressed home, a home that needs a lot of work, that you feel you can have either double or triple ARV value, right? You buy for $50,000, maybe it'll be worth 100, 150 when fixed up. You refinance it. I tend to do the reverse. I refinance it, then rent it, and then you get your money back after the refi. And that's what I mean by recycling your money. You get that money back from the bank, and then you do it again. Copy and paste, right? And that's the model I've been following to a T. That's why I've been able to do 14 properties in just 4 years. And like I said, I'm not a millionaire. I wasn't a millionaire at the time. But just, how do I recycle the cash and keep using it over and over again? The fear was if I didn't use the BRRRR strategy, yeah, I might use $30,000, $40,000 to fix up one property and for the down payment, but then I have to wait to save up more. You have to wait to save more money, right? You got to save, put away cash, get that $30,000 back. I was not willing to wait. I want a scalable solution, a scalable model. I want units under my name, and I want to move fast, and that's why I've been using the BRRRR strategy. So when I look at properties now, the questions I'm always asking myself is, one, can I get my money back with the BRRRR strategy? And then two, what am I prioritizing, net worth or cash flow? Cash flow is kind of difficult right now in this current market. It is possible though, but cash flow is, hey, the mortgage is $1,000 a month, and with rents I can make $1,200 to $1,300. My cash flow is thus $200 to $300 a month. That's nice. Cash is nice, but at the end of the day, my mind is on net worth and assets, right? On equity. How can I get early retirement? How can I be on a trajectory to become a millionaire soon? And that's where I'm pushing. So the refi of my properties, sitting on my properties, renting them out long term, that's kind of my focus right now. So my first property, exactly 4 years ago yesterday, was in Elwood, Illinois. So, and before I started getting into investments, I kept hearing like, hey, Chicago's not a great market for investors. It's overpriced, it's oversaturated, there's too many sharks in the water. The rents aren't the greatest in the suburbs, so on and so forth. But honestly, out of the 14 properties, 12 have been in the Chicago suburbs, and they all been working great for me. So I'm a testament that, yeah, you can invest in Chicago, you can invest in the Chicago suburbs. I've also invested in Northwest Indiana. I went to Notre Dame, so I have a couple of properties around campus over there, and that's been going well too. But here's a real life example. So this is 4 years ago, my very, very first property. Barely used a contractor on this. It was me, my dad, my brother-in-law, some of my cousins. We just kind of tag teamed it. I bought it for $89,000, and within 4 months, I got an appraisal of this property. I refied it at $190,000. So I bought it at $89,000, and it got reappraised at $190,000 3 to 4 months later. When you go back to the bank and you say, hey, what's this new value? They say, oh, it's $190,000. They'll give you 75% LTV loan back, right? So they'll say, okay, you can refi it. We'll pay off that first mortgage. You're going to get a new mortgage at 75% of the new value of the $190,000. So when they gave me that money back, I got a 15-year term at the $142,000. Long story short, after paying off the first mortgage with this $142,000, I paid off the first mortgage. I paid off the $27,000 in rehab to fix up the property. I paid off $10,000 for the closing costs and holding costs for the 4 months that I had the property without renting it. I got all my money back, every penny, and I got paid $16,000 for the house. So after the refi went through, I'm plus $16,000 in cash, and I'm sitting on a fully refied house ready to be rented. I now rent this property out for it went up a little bit recently, but about $2.4 thousand a month. My mortgage on the 15-year term is $1,500, so I'm making $800 to $1,000 a month in cash flow from this house. All my properties I put on a 15-year term. 30-year terms are a ripoff. You're going to pay double, if not triple, the cost of the house at the end of the term. I have 4 little kids, 7, 5, 3, and 2 years old. They're all roughly going to be in college in about 15 years, hopefully. In 15 years, I'll be sitting on a bunch of properties fully paid that I can pull equity from, sell, grab that cash flow for college, for emergencies, for retirement. So all my properties are on a 15-year term. So when I do my analysis in terms of cash flow and the refi, I always look at the 15-year term. So now this property is worth, 4 years later, $280,000. And in 4 years, my net worth equity is $150,000 in this one house. So in this one house, the very first house that sold me on real estate, my net worth improved to $150,000. I make $1,000 a month in cash flow, and I didn't pay a penny for it. So this model, more or less, is what I've been doing with the other 14 houses. Just copy and paste. Now I did flip 6 or so or 7 or so of those houses, just to raise capital, get some more cash flow coming in, and to seed the next round of long-term holds. But this is the model. This is the BRRRR model. This is the beauty of it. Even today, Joe and I submitted an offer in Wilmington. It's a little south of Elwood. I have other properties a little more north, but coincidentally, in Wilmington, I submitted an offer today. I think it was like $75,000, and my comp showed that it could be worth $250,000. So that it would follow this same exact model, which is great, right? So at the end of the day, I spent $0 for the property. I got paid $16,000 after the refi. I make $800, now I make $1,000 a month because I also rent out the second garage far in the back. I'm sitting on $150,000 in equity. My mortgage gets fully paid off by the tenant, and the equity has gone up a lot over the past 4 years, as you know. How did I do it in terms of money? So like I said, I had about $30,000 in cash. So I used that $30,000 to pay for the closing costs the day I bought the property. And then I had good credit. So I used credit cards and whatnot to pay the contractor, that I have for some of the stuff that we were doing. But me and my dad went to Home Depot a lot, went to Menards. I used credit cards, and that's how I paid it all off. And then after the refi, I paid myself back on all of this, paid off all the credit cards, and I was good to go. Any questions on that first property, by the way? I know I'm going fast just because of time. Yeah.
Real quick, so when you did the first rehab, since you bought it, has this, I'm only familiar with like Cook County, Chicago, but did anything, you said you were renting the garage in the back?
Yeah, so there's a attached single garage, but in the far back there's a double car garage in the alley. Yeah.
So you're renting the garage out to other people? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, all right, gotcha. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so here now, present day, I rent this house for $2,100, and the far back garage I rent for $150.
Got it.
Yeah, but it's in the far alley, about 30 yards back.
Okay. Oh wow.
Another thing, you didn't mention, but because the bank only lends you 75%, you have 25% equity.
Well, that's exactly what I mean. So the 25% equity over time has grown to the 150. Exactly right.
But instantly, even
exactly
as soon as you
right.
close, you got 25% equity.
Yeah. So 25%. So at the time, after 4 months, right? After 4 months of me fixing it up, it was worth $190. So 25% of $190 is what, roughly $45,000 or so. So immediately I have $50,000 in equity.
Plus the 16 you took out.
Yes, plus the 16. And then 4 years later now, because of market appreciation, that equity now is 150. I mean, it's a no-brainer, man.
Win-win-win.
Yeah, and I compare it to like, okay, what were the other things I was doing to generate money back in the day before real estate? Okay, S&P 500 index, right, on the stock market. Really, I think that's all I was. Crypto, right, which was like up and down. I mean, this is the game changer, man. This is what I'm hanging my hat on. I like, as opposed to crypto and all the other stuff, I can touch and feel this. I can work with it with my hands. I see it in front of me. I know what it is. I have all this market data around me because there's tons of houses around it. I know what they're worth and what my house is worth. I mean, I understand it. So I'm sold on real estate. That's why 4 years later, I have a bunch of properties. I became a realtor 6 months ago, and I'm going to go 10 times faster the next year or two. So like, I'm sold on it.
Where do you live and where are these properties? Like, what's the radius?
Yeah, I go where the deals are. So I'm in Winfield. I'm by Wheaton. So
Okay.
I have properties in Cary, Elwood. I had them in New Lenox, Joliet, Alsip, South Bend. Yeah, so it's a pretty wide radius. Like all the Illinois properties are within 45 minutes to an hour from me.
Okay.
Other than the South Bend properties, that's about 2 hours.
Very good.
But I love South Bend because that's where I went to school and go to football games and all that.
With that many properties, do you just manage them yourself, or do you work with a property manager?
No, right now it's all me. Yeah, right now it's all me. That might change soon, but right now it's all me. I'm a penny cruncher, so I'm like, I'm not ready to pay somebody yet if I can just do it.
Yeah.
But in essence, I have 3 jobs technically. I still work in the corporate world, but I'm phasing away little by little. I became a realtor, which I need to become better at. I just gotta market myself to people. And third, I'm an investor, which I love and I'm passionate about, and this is what I've been doing for the past 4 years.
Last question, why did you become a realtor since you were already doing it?
One, I can make the commissions, right, for all the buys and sales that I have. 1, 2, quicker access to the MLS. I don't have to wait for a realtor and wait for them to do all the work for me and looking for houses and doing the contracts and all that. 3, it forces me to network. So I became a realtor because now, look, I'm on Charles. If I didn't become a realtor, I would not be here talking to you today. I'd probably still be doing this in a bubble by myself in my house with my wife, right? I mean, now I'm Charles is forcing me to do events like this, right? I love it, I'm kidding. But I have a team of realtors I work with. Joe helps me now. Charles helps me a ton. One of the houses in South Bend I purchased was from Charles. It's forcing me to surround myself with like-minded folks, honestly. That's the true reason why I did it. The commission doesn't hurt, obviously, when I buy and sell my own properties, but that wasn't the primary reason why I did it. But when I became sold on real estate, I started asking myself, well, how do I get more involved in it, right? And becoming a realtor, joining a team, all that was part of the mind process. Plus, I have access to all these cool tools like Remind, Relist on the MLS. So now I can do data searches where other brokers really didn't understand. I can look up distressed properties in counties, tax liens. I can look up potential clients who might be interested in selling based on their age, demographic, house prices, when they bought, how much equity they're sitting on. So all this data and software I didn't have access to before, but now I do. And I've been training like crazy on it the past 6 months. So I'm going to leverage that data and knowledge to drive this more. The hardest part of the real estate right now is just finding the deals. Once I have the deals, I can run it all day, like the back of my hand. Now I have a contractor network and all that. But finding deals is the name of the game. But having more data, more knowledge, more network, it makes it a little bit easier, right?
Right.
How much time do I have left, Joe?
The iPad.
Oh, it went dark. It went dark. 10 minutes maybe?
It's 7:02.
Okay. Oh man, they're about to draft Caleb soon. And so if you hear Caleb Williams, let me know. All right. All right. My second and last example. Alsip, actually not too far from where I grew up. This is a 2-unit. 1 unit here, 1 unit here. So same exact model, copy and paste, right? I bought this in January 2023, so a little over a year ago. I bought it for $140. I put $25 in, plus you always got to add all the fees and crap when you pay attorneys and title companies and all that. So the $25 of rehab, $12 of all those additional fees. I refinanced it 4 months later for $255. So the value went up from $140 to $255 in 4 months. Once again, I put it on a 15-year term at 100 and got the 190. Paid myself back $14,000 after the refi. I now rent it for $3.2. My mortgage is $2,200. I make $1,000 a month. Now the property. So keep in mind, I bought it for $140 in January. Okay. Now the property is worth $300. So $115,000 in equity in what? 15 months. And it's a 2 unit, so that cash flow is nice, right? With a 2 units, so I rent them out each for, I think this one goes for $1,550 and the other one goes for $1,700 or so. So at the end of the day, after the refi, once again spent zero out of pocket, got paid 14 grand by the bank 4 months later, make $1,000 a month in cash, sitting on $115,000 of equity in 14 months, and the property continues to go up. Yeah.
You got a refinance in 4 months?
Yeah.
You didn't have any seasoning issues?
I know a lender who doesn't give me those issues, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you good for?
Hands on, we can talk.
Yeah.
Where are you finding your properties? Oh, found on Zillow?
Yeah, so this one was found on Zillow. And the other property was, here. So if you're new and you don't have access to MLS and you're not obsessed with me with, some of you might use TikTok and Snapchat and all that. I'm on Zillow, Redfin, and Truly all day, every day, just constantly searching, man. So I found it. It had been on the market for a while, and just seized it. It actually went pending, and I noticed it fell off. Immediately called the selling agent, like, hey, what happened? Let me give you my offer, and then boom, I was ready.
What was
to
the
go.
listing price? Do you remember?
I think it was like 150.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Yeah.
What was your rate on the 15-year?
Right now?
I mean, what was it when you refinanced?
Well, I'm still sitting on the same refi, so I think it's like 7, something like that.
7?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
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 What's it today? Is it?
It's still the same. Yeah. So the one catch with that seasoning period went into effect right when I went to refi this in early 2023.
Okay.
So prior to 2023, I had zero problem getting a refi done in less than 12 months.
Okay.
But I think in February or March 2023, Freddie and Franny instilled that rule because of COVID and the concerns with the health of the market. So they enforced that 12-month seasoning period.
Mm-hmm.
I found a lender. Now that's from the secondary market, Freddie and Franny. I'm using a bank who does their loans in-house. And that's how I'm getting these periods done. The only catch to the refi in less than 12 months is that you can't prepay the whole loan the first 3 years.
Oh, you're prepaid?
Yeah, you can't prepay the loan in 3 years. But I'm not prepaid. I wasn't going to prepay this anyway.
Well, Joe was doing that, but...
yeah, right. So, yeah. Actually, I'm doing another refi right now. And I bought the property in January, and today's April, and he literally emailed me an hour ago with all the terms for a 15, 20, and a 30-year refi for June. I'm scheduled for June for the refi.
Is it DSCR or is it your personal name?
It's under my LLC. Yep. You have something?
Yeah, is your goal to let themselves pay them off, or if you had the money to I'm gonna pay these all off, or just write it out?
No, man. I mean, no. If I get the money, I'm gonna buy another property. So like, you just gotta weigh the risk reward. So if I get tons of cash, I could pay this off at a 7% interest rate, right? But could I use that same money and buy another property that's making me 100% return, 200% return versus paying off a 7% interest rate? So it's just a cost reward of looking at if it's worth it. I like buying more properties and doing these models. I just copy and paste this over and over again. It's not rocket science. Once you do it one time, you kind of get the feel for it, and you just keep doing it. That loan I didn't want to use my cash on. That one I got a personal loan, but I had pretty good credit, and I got like a $60,000 personal loan in my name, and then I paid it all off when I was done with the house. Oh yeah, and then so here are some of the houses. So that was 4 years ago yesterday. That's after we got ready to rent it, my wife and my babies. Like I said, the first house, my dad's been awesome, man. He's like my consultant, my lead consultant. And my GC helping me with permits and all that. So Dad, you're the best. But he's been with me in every single property. So like we don't do the work anymore, but we check in on the contractor. There's some touch-ups. We go in there and fix it up a little bit. This is my pride and joy. This is the first one my dad actually partnered with me on financially, which was really cool a couple years ago. So this is we're hoping this becomes an Airbnb very soon for Notre Dame. Right now we're just renting it, but that's literally like 3-4 blocks east of Notre Dame campus, so perfect for parking for Irish football games and all that. So it was a distressed home. It was an abandoned home. It was a squatter's home. It was very ugly, but got looking nice and pretty. That's the Allison property. That's my tenant. This one was the one in Wilmington. This was in New Lenox. Bought it for $90, sold it for $280, $290. This is another one in New Lenox. See, my family goes with me everywhere I go. You might see them in a little bit. They're driving around. They didn't want to disrupt you guys with crying and yelling, so my 4 kids are with my wife somewhere around here. This is New Lenox as well. New Lenox. Yeah. Oh, this is Carrie. This is the one that I'm refining soon. My cousin is a union painter. He helps out from time to time. Yeah. So right now I'm sitting on 3 right now. So before I was doing poor man's investing, right? I would do one, wait for it to get refi, get my money back, then do it again. But you got to wait like 5-6 months, right? So now I'm going a little bigger and faster. I have my uncle, my dad's brother, who now is my lead investor. So that's been helping me go fast. So now I'm sitting on 3 properties at one time. Lombard, Cary, and South Bend's not on this. But yeah, all the same model. Lombard is a gold mine. I'm very happy I got that one. That was an off-market deal through a cousin of mine who knows I like to buy ugly houses. So she told me about that one. So real quick, I'll wrap up. I think I got like a minute left. I'm going bigger and faster. I'm sold on the power of real estate. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I don't have a boss. I'm the boss. I call the shots. I don't have to ask for vacation time. I don't have to wake up at a certain time. Like, it's all on my terms. I absolutely love it. I plan to be fully dedicated to it in a few years when I get away from the corporate world. I formed my LLC about a year ago, became a realtor 6 months ago. My uncle there is my lead investor now. He was a big shot at Allstate as an executive. He was the lead of their asset management for 15 years, overseeing all the commercial properties they invested in. So whenever you guys buy insurance, all those premiums, they were going to him as asset management. So he's my lead investor now, helping me go bigger and faster. He likes what I'm doing. He trusts what I'm doing. And this year we're going to do all single family homes. Next year we're going to start going into commercial properties. Yeah, I'm also a realtor though, guys. So I can sell and buy normal houses too. So if you need anything, let me know. I wouldn't mind a pity sale. I have Facebook, Instagram, Google, all that. You can find me. Just look me up. I like to do funny posts like this, so I buy ugly houses. This stupid little post got me the Lombard house, which is awesome. I do email blogs. I got a website. Just look up my name. And there you go. That's it. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
I can try myself.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I know the first round pick has not been chosen yet, so feel free to also yell out. Not that I care. I just want us to win. So anyways, hi, everyone. I'm Samantha Gagni Magante. Just got married in December. I had my husband's over there. And we had a destination wedding in Punta Cana, as you'll see here. And then we also did our honeymoon, a group honeymoon with our family and Charles and his family. Right here, there's penguins behind us. So a little bit about me, I'm a realtor on Charles's team. I also have a travel planning company called VS1 Travels. We specialize in bucket list travel, as Antarctica is, and group travel, luxury travel. So feel free to scan my QR code if you have any travel or real estate needs. But anyways, so I grew up in Streamwood, Illinois, streamwide over here. And I went to the University of Illinois at Chicago, so UIC, for my undergrad and grad. Got my master's in healthcare administration, and it was in management consulting for about 10 years. And I quit that job in May 2021. Had a midlife crisis during COVID, as a lot of people, I'm sure, understand. And I was able to make that decision because I was house hacking. And so just having that additional cushion of, having my living expenses offset by my tenants gave me that opportunity to live more freely and actually have businesses that I'm interested in and passionate about. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so for those of you that may not know, house hacking is when you live in a property while you rent out a portion of it for rental income to someone else. And so that can be just renting out a room in your home. If you have an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, that could be, like a garage apartment, something like that. Or if you have a multi-unit building, so you live in one of the units and you rent out the others, which is what I do. I was first exposed to house hacking growing up. My aunt and uncle, they had a number of properties in Illinois and Northwest Indiana. And we have a large extended family, so we'd go to their 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment for Thanksgiving. And I was just always wondering, don't you have all these properties? Why are we in this little apartment? But I understand now, obviously a bit older, and they are just living their best life, retired in Fort Lauderdale, just cruising and traveling. So that's where I want to be, but a lot sooner. So that's how I got exposed to it. And some benefits, I've already talked about it. Basically, you're reducing your living expenses. I wanted to live for as free or near free as I could, or just offset my expenses. You're getting rental income from your tenants, so that's offsetting your living expenses. And then they're also helping you build equity. And so as they build equity for you, you can then, as that builds, you can leverage that for future properties as well. So I can talk about what we've done. And then obviously, you're learning firsthand about real estate investing. You're owning a property, you're living in it, you're a property manager, you're just doing it all. So we learned a lot in the past few years. Okay, so how I got started. Anyone here house hacked before or currently house hacking? Yeah. Okay, cool. Just wondering. Okay, so what we did to prep for our first house hack, obviously working with a realtor, and I was not a realtor at the time, so I used someone else. But we just started looking at properties and really understanding what you're more interested in. Is it something that's more move-in ready? Is it something that's fixed rehab? Are you handy? Or do you have people in your family or network that are handy? I am not handy, and so we gravitated more to the move-in ready type properties. And so just kind of walking properties, just you learn a lot and just seeing how different things are constructed and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we did. And then another thing we did, so we invest in Chicago, and so it's a tenant-friendly city. So I actually, me and Derek, my husband, we took the property management course that's run by CIC, and we did this because, it's our first time being a landlord. We don't know what we don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for something that, that we did incorrectly. And so just knowing all the rules and regulations for Chicago and then wherever you're investing in, just recommend understanding what landlord requirements there are, or inspections when you buy a home and those types of things. But very affordable, $60 per person in person and then $50 online. And then also through that, Chicago, if you are investing in Chicago, they redo their lease every year, so getting that. And then we actually worked with an attorney to create a rider, which just additional rules and regulations that supplement the Chicago lease. But yes, very helpful. So I was very lost. There's only so much that Google can do in terms of how do you be a landlord. So I'm just knowing what's required for your municipality. Okay, So our first house hack was in Little Village. It's a 4-unit property. At the time, 3 units were fully occupied, 1 was vacant. There were multiple offers, we didn't get it, and then it fell through. So the seller's agent reached out to us, and we got the property. We put it under my name, FHA, 3.5% down, and then my financial planner at the time said that for your very first property, you're able to use up to $10,000 from your IRA retirement account, penalty-free, and you don't have to pay it back. So I definitely used that. And then we were able to negotiate $15,000 in seller's credit just through some things that we found in the inspection. So just combining this 10K, this 15K, and a low, 3.5% down, we brought very little to closing, which was great for cash-on-cash return. So I'll just go into a little bit more of the numbers. So we bought, so the property, the front building is 3 units, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and then in the back there's a coach house, so there's no garage, just street parking. We bought it for $415,000 in 2019, and then our monthly PITI $2,200, and then expense assumptions I'll get into in the next slide. But we were cash flowing while we were living there for about almost $300 a month. Okay. And so this is just a snapshot in time, nothing crazy, but as you'll see, we are getting about $3,300 a month while we're living there for 4 units. And then in terms of what we calculate, so PITI, that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and that's all into one when you do FHA, and conventional, depending what you choose to do. And then the additional expenses, capital expenditures, management, we chose to self-manage, but that's just something, additional cushion, and then vacancy. And so us living there, around $283. So some key takeaways from our first house hack, just recommend knowing the area, because it was an emotional buy. I was like, oh, I really like this building. This is pretty. And it's close enough to UIC that that I didn't really care. So yeah, just really knowing the area, do more due diligence on your end, because I didn't. But I got lucky, so it was fine. And then obviously I already talked about living for free and the tenants building equity for us. And then in terms of being a first-time home owner and a first-time property manager, learned a lot. Just in terms of just maintaining your home, all the checks that you should be doing, HVAC checks in the spring if you haven't already, might be 70s next week. And then just while you're living in the property, you know the issues firsthand. If the electric goes out, the water goes out, those types of things. And then along that, having a good team of reliable contractors. If you don't already know anyone, we have resources, but ask your network for referrals. And then, you're living with your tenants as neighbors. So we lived in the middle unit. We had tenants above us, below us, and behind us, so we could hear everything. So that's just something, as you live in an apartment building, that you have to balance. And if that situation works best for you, then so be it. Okay. And then, there's like a crazy thing that happened, but basically we learned the hard way that if you have a vacant unit in the winter, the pipes may burst if you don't have the heat on. And so that sucked. And just knowing where your main water valve is too, that's important to know. And then having a slow drip for your faucets if it's very, very cold. Okay. And then another thing for realtors, or if you're working with a realtor, and buying a property in Chicago as well, just doing sewer line checks. They are very expensive to repair on the owner's side. Luckily, this is all on the city side. So this is an easy 20, 30K, expense if it just happened to be on this side of the property. And so just getting that checked every year, especially if there's like trees or rooting, I don't know the proper name for it, but yeah, just getting your sewer line checked to make sure that you can negotiate those things with the seller. Any questions? I'm going really quickly. Sorry.
So you lived in the first unit, right?
Mhm.
So when you moved out, did that affect your homeowner's exemption at all?
No, it did not. I don't think I even got the homeowner's exemption because we moved out and got the second one already.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we literally just applied for our current homeowner's
Yeah, because
exemption.
I just recently learned that the city's actually bad at keeping track, and I did some research, and I have a lot of friends that don't live. One friend has 5 units, 5 buildings, and they like all have a homeowner's exemption.
Really?
Yeah.
I should get that on my
Yeah.
one.
So yeah, it was weird. And then
Oh.
one friend had the same situation. They applied retroactively and used their ID from when they lived there, and they got refunds.
My ID still says my old address.
That's why. So
Alright.
So I got you.
Then okay.
Yeah, because
Thank
I
you.
did that for my
Because I have a
first.
slide that.
Yeah, I
the
did
gate's
that on
on.
my first place, and I was like, you know what? My attorney was like, just try it. Who cares? Worst they say is no. I got $4,000 back.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
All right.
Okay, homeowners exemption on the list. Okay, so going into our second house hack, which is where we live now, which is in Brighton Park, which is just about like 7 minutes south from our other property. It was fully vacant, and it was under contract. And so we submitted an offer, and it's actually for one of my buyer clients. And and so I followed up weekly with the seller's agent just to see if it was going to go through or not. And I was the first person they called when it didn't go through. So just persistence and just because you see something under contract doesn't mean it's off limits. So definitely worth trying. And so my buyer actually was already under contract for another property. So I was like, oh, I like this property. So we just submitted an offer. We put this under Derek's name, FHA, and then we were able to negotiate an $18,000 seller's credit. So that was very, very nice as well. So a little bit about the property. So 3-unit, upstairs is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and then downstairs is 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And so for us, we knew that we wanted more space, and so we live in the 3-bedroom, 1 bath. So in this particular situation, obviously we're not living for free, but we knew that we wanted more space and that cost something. But we were willing to purchase it because it offset the rental income offsets the cost of the PITI and expenses. But there's also an opportunity because there is a hospital campus being built in the next few years nearby. So I was just looking more at the short-term, middle-term rental opportunity, which I've yet to do, but it's on my list. But remember, we still have the first house hack, so we're able to move out of that and then fully rent it out. And so now we're cash flowing at $1,800 instead. So it kind of like washes out basically. But in addition to that, we got a home equity line of credit, and so we bought this property at $415. We bought this property at $415 in 2019, and it appraised at $638 in 2022. And we didn't do anything but add mailboxes and a buzzer. And so it was really the appreciation of the area that increased that cost, or increased that. And so we were able to get a lot of equity out of that, and that was just like luck. I don't know. But yeah, so now we have this HELOC for additional liquidity to purchase other properties.
Question.
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
wanted
sorry.
to ask more about the HELOC, like how
Yeah.
did you go about applying for that? Or
Yeah. So I actually asked for recommendations for across other like investors too that do home equity line of credits, and they gave me a couple options, and I actually went with Old National, and I can give you the contact for that, but just kind of looking at the different offers they have, because they have an introductory period too, like the first year, it's like, it depends on your credit score obviously and all of that, but it was like less, like 1 or 2% under prime, and then after that, then it's like 1 plus prime or something like that. But yeah, so it's basically like a balloon payment. So it's a credit card off your property, essentially, or checkbook, and you can use it on anything. It can be I could use, not that I would, like, oh, I can use it to buy pizza or something like that, but it's a checkbook, you can get it like a debit card, but I will use it for investment property, or anything like that, so. But it's interest-only payments for the first 10 years, but you can pay principal on top of that, and then if at the 10 years, you can refi into like a 30-year. But yeah, so I'll go a little bit more on that, because my parents, they've had their home in Streamwood forever, fully paid off. They got a HELOC from Old National, and we were able to put an offer on a property in cash. Mortgage, allowed or whatever it is, but that's like an option if there are multiple offers, like that's something you can leverage if you have that equity somewhere. So, okay. So a couple other things. This property had a garage, so additional income. This one was rehab, but not as good as the first one, so just used our contractors a lot more. And then we did work with an attorney to structure our properties just so that we're protected. We have like a holding company and like all these other things, but that I can't explain to you, but I have someone that can if you're interested. And then what I do wish was I bought something right before I quit my job, because they won't lend you anything if you go fully self-employed. So just keep that in mind. When you go fully self-employed from your corporate job or your W-2 job, the lenders, they need like 2 years of you showing money, but then if like you're showing money, you're paying more tax, all this stuff. So yeah, if you're thinking of quitting your job, just buy something first, because it'll be some time. And at each property now, I'm like, oh, I have to have someone on it, because Anton won't give me any loans without someone else.
Damn it, Anton.
I know. And then one last thing don't want to sugarcoat this. So this happened recently. There's an escrow shortage because obviously property taxes, insurance, all this stuff. My PITI increased $1,000. However, it's still okay. We're cash flowing still at $800 a month, but it was just like, that sucks. So, tip, have 3 to 6 months in reserves for unexpected situations. Not just for this, but we're okay because we're still cash flowing positively. But that was just it hurt when I saw that. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Okay, any questions before I talk about getting started? Okay, so how to get started? Just setting your real estate investing goals, whatever that may be. If you want to just live, start small, like renting something out in your house or something like that. Whatever it is, just figure out what that is, determine what your budget is, work with the lender, get your financing options, name some of them here. And I already talked about the HELOC thing. That was something new that I was like, oh, that's very nice. Find the right home, analyze, do your due diligence, submit your offers, close and move in. So easy. And then after closing, property management. And so decide if you want to self-manage or outsource. I recommend self-managing. You're there, you're living there. It's not like it's far away, and you learn the most. And so choosing a property management software that helps automate collecting rent, applying late fees. I use apartments.com. That's free for landlords to use. Having a process in place for renewing leases, finding new tenants. If you want to use a realtor or do it yourself. Before I became a realtor, I did find it myself, but there are a couple things to know about that if you're going to do it yourself too. And then knowing how you want to handle tenant complaints or issues. So we made the mistake early on, like we just have our tenants text us, and so it's just very easy to get, and they know that we own it. So what I will say is it's easier to communicate that you're just the property manager and not the owner, because then the owner's the bad guy, and you're just the messenger. So we plan to do that in the future as we have turnover, but I manage my parents' property, and so we just blame them the whole time. So definitely do that, and then know how you want to handle pets. we initially didn't want to have pets because, I mean, I love animals, but you know, there's additional wear and tear for your properties. But if you do accept them, having a pet addendum, knowing how much you're going to charge for pet rents, if you're going to have a one-time fee, those types of things, and knowing how to handle all these noise complaints when dogs are barking and all that kind of stuff.
Excuse me, what was the name of the software that you used?
Apartments.com.
Oh, there you go, thank you.
This is the next slide. Okay, so just some high-level tips. Just stay organized with your finances. It gets to be a lot. If you can, just limit any expenses to like one credit card so that you know you're not like doing all these other things with all like we did, basically. So Stessa is something that is free to use as for landlords. They already have the categories that you can just like put them in for specific to property management. And then apartments.com, like I said, they help automate collecting rent, and then they also apply late fees and reminders, which is great. And then just researching the areas, knowing what's coming up, like for example, we have our hospital campus coming up in the next few years, so just knowing what's coming into developments and news and those types of things. And then network with other investors. There are a lot of meetups. I know there's a lot of people here that host meetups and all of that. So definitely network with other people that have done it, because then you're not, you know, trying to figure it out on your own. And then continuously educate yourself about real estate investing. There's so many podcasts, books, bigger pockets. I listen to straight up Chicago investors podcasts, like religiously. So and they focus strictly on Chicagoland investing. So I find that very helpful if you're looking to stay in this area. But again, it's not perfect. I'm still learning, but happy to share my story. If you have any questions or need travel, just add this. Just reach out. Yes.
So you mainly manage your own properties? Do you manage other people's properties as well?
I manage mainly ours, my parents, and then I actually have a client that wants me to do it, and I'm like, sure.
Right.
So yeah.
So have you ever, because I know there's because I get a lot of people that call me and like, hey, what do you do in this situation? Obviously in Chicago, it's very popular for the 2-flat with we don't, whatever, the basement.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Some people, everyone rents it out. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So there's been some talk in Chicago about, I guess the administration's talking about potentially turning those into ADUs. You just have to apply for it.
Yeah.
However that's gonna work.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, usually people that reach out to me, they're already having an issue with because tenants are getting smarter. So tenants are like, oh, well, I know this is an illegal unit, so I've been getting a lot of those calls, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, get an attorney. But you get what I'm saying? So have you had any experience with that, or is there anything that you've noticed?
All my units are legal.
No.
Anyone here? No, have an answer for that?
If it could be converted into an ADU.
Right,
Yeah.
You need a consultant and they'll walk you through the process. There's stuff on the city website that guides you on all the requirements.
Right.
But definitely doable. They're a lot more lenient compared to before.
Right,
So it's
yeah.
definitely doable.
Especially if it's like, I heard it, especially if it's over like 50 years, you have a like centennial building, anything that's over 100 years, now they're like, alright, you just keep it, you just have to pay something and file for it, and then they update it, and then you're like, alright, cool, you can go rent it out, something like that.
Or the next option is convert it into an Airbnb.
Right, correct, yeah.
If it's illegal, you can do that?
Because it could be part of your main dwelling of your home.
I live upstairs, I'm renting.
Yeah.
I live upstairs, it's a duplex, and I'm renting the rooms downstairs.
Yeah.
In my living
It's a lot of
quarters.
red tape. Normally the people that ask me, they've had the building, like, one friend, her uncle passed away and left the building, and there was someone living in the basement. She's like, what do I do with this? And I was like, let me ask around, and then the tenants were like, oh, we're gonna take you to court or something. I'm like, I don't want a part of that. So I was like, yeah, just get an attorney, I guess, but
They should sell the house.
Yeah, you should get
To me,
an attorney.
no.
yeah, I'll let her know. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. If you know of anyone that is selling multifamily units in the southwest side, just let me know, because that's where I'm looking. Thank you.
5 minutes at a time.
5 minutes? Thanks. Hey everyone, my name is Mike, or Anton as some people probably call me. A lender that's been working with Charles and his team now for pretty much as long as they've been in the industry. Actually, me and Charles have been pretty much working on investing and lending pretty much as soon as I got my first job. Back then it was probably not really so much real estate, but just crazy ideas he had, and I would just fund him the money for it. Nowadays, we're doing real estate and I'm lending money for my company's money, which makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. It's not my own money I'm giving him this time. So with that, pretty much Charles and I and his team, we work with our clients, work with the investors to pretty much find solutions based off of what you guys are looking for. Whether it be your first home, you're looking to do a house hack, we definitely have products for that. If you're an investor looking to buy an investment property, whether it be, maybe your credit's not so good, we have products that could go around you having poor credit. If you don't have income, solid income, we have products that'll pretty much just qualify you based off of the income the property will generate. Pretty much, we have products to figure out any solution you guys have for any problem you have. So, I've been doing this now, lending in real estate for about 8 years now. I've been around for a little bit. Pretty much have been working with investors pretty much from the get-go. So whether you guys are looking for an income based loan, if you need a HELOC to generate some funds for down payments, we have options for that. Maybe if you don't have a lot saved up and you're looking to buy your first home, we have some low down payment options for a multi-unit. You need as little as 3.5% down for an FHA loan. Or if you're looking to do a conventional loan, we have a 5% down option now too for multi-units, which is new for this year. So pretty much, we can go through all the products, but normally what I like to do is talk one-on-one over the phone. That way we can go over your scenario, figure out your exact product that best suits your needs. So just here to ask, provide a quick word. So do you guys have any questions or anything, or do you have, has anyone ever
203K loans?
Yeah, we do 203K loans as well.
DSCR?
The SCR as well, yes. And we actually also have a renovation loan that's like a 203K, but it's a conventional product. That way you don't have to worry about FHA's upfront MIP. So it's a lot more affordable as well. And obviously FHA has a lot more guidelines as well that they want you to clear and go through. So conventional is a little bit more lenient as well. So yeah, we have those options as well. Definitely. Yeah. If anyone also needs a HELOC too, just to, for money for down payment, we'll have that option as well. Yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions or anything?
How do you guys differ from traditional lenders?
Yeah, so pretty much we're kind of like Chase, except for I'm with a retail lender where we just do mortgage loans. We do have options that are a broker as well. So our DSCR option, it's not through us, but I do broker it through a different bank that'll do that. Sometimes I'll have Chase offer some unique product that I'm able to offer as well. So pretty much I work like a broker, so I'm able to give you different options outside of my company as well. Does anyone else have any other questions or anything?
You answer all my questions
Yeah,
every day.
right.
So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, usually I'm always available by phone, text message. Previous clients of mine, we just pretty much just call, shoot the wind a little bit, and just go through any questions and scenarios you guys have. So I'm always available by phone to go through options and stuff or whatnot.
He really is though. I did my last 2 properties with him, and he always picks up. And if not, he'll be like, call you back in 4 minutes. And then 4 minutes later, he's like, yo, I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah, he's always, it's good.
Yeah. Even if you have a 1-minute question or a 1-hour question, I got you guys. But yeah, thanks. It was great to talk to you. I hope to talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for the pizza.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.